I'm Izzy,
I'm Morgan.
I'm Skylar.
and we had copyrights and ethics. The definition of copyright is the exclusive legal right given to an originator or an assignee to print, publish, perform, film, or record literacy, artistic, or musical material, and to authorize others to do the same. Some other information about copywriting is work published after 1923 needs permission from the author to copy it, and types of work that cannot be copyrighted are facts or ideas in the public domain, words, names, slogans, or other short phrases, and government works created as part of official responsibility.
Some copyright laws affecting teachers and students are that teachers must always follow copyright laws, and the materials that they use must be for educational purposes only, and students are required to follow the rules that their district or school policies establish for them. Some implications and possible consequences are copyright laws can make the teachers spend more time and could be time consuming, but as an educator, they need to follow them. And there are no daily or annual checkups, but the teacher needs to be responsible for themselves and following those laws. There are consequences, and some of them could be fined up to $100,000, and the school district is not required to provide legal support for that. And they can avoid dealing with these consequences if they are educated on the copyright laws. Some things that, here are just some basic guidelines that teachers need to follow in their classrooms for copywriting and making copies. So they can make single copies, which would be like a chapter from a book, an article, a short story, have a chart or a diagram or a picture from a text. And then there's also the cumulative effect, which is they can copy material for only one course in a school, which the material can be no more than one short poem, article, story, etc., no more than 3 from the same collective work in one class term, and no more than 9 instances of multiple copying for one course in one term. And the following should be prohibited. Copying should not be used to create, replace, or substitute text that the students use in the class. And there should be no copying of or from the works intended to be consumable. And when we say consumable, we mean like worksheets, workbooks, standardized tests, or test booklets, etc. So basically, copying should not substitute the purchase of a textbook, be directed by higher authority, be repeated with respect to the same item by the same teacher, and no charge shall be made to the student beyond the actual cost of the photocopying.
Intellectual property and fair use. Intellectual property, also known as IP, is well known as like creations of your mind or inventions, literary and artistic works, designs, symbols, names, and images used in commerce. IP is protected by law, by patents, copyright, or trademarks. And fair use is a principle based on the belief that the public is entitled to freely use portions of copyrighted materials for purposes of commentary, criticism, or parody. Fair use is any copying of copyrighted materials done for limited and transformative purposes, and it can be used without the permission of the copyright owner. There is an exception for fair use. The only way to get a definitive answer on if a particular use of fair use is to take it to federal court, and then judges use the 4 factors to resolve fair use disputes, which are purpose and character of your use, nature of copyrighted work, amount and substantially of portion taken, and the effect of the use upon potential market. And when you claim fair use, there's no guarantee that it will qualify as fair use. And there are 2 types of situations especially likely to cause legal problems. And one is work causes owner of original work to lose money, or the copyright owner is offended by the use. And then public domain is a term that refers to creative materials that are not protected by IP laws. No one can ever own it. While each work belongs to the public, collections of public domain works may be protected by copyright. So if you have a group of works, so like a picture by itself would not count as public domain or couldn't be protected, but a group of photos is copyrighted and you can't copy the whole group, you can just take one. And then there are 4 common ways that works become public domain. The copyright has expired, copyright owner failed to follow copyright renewal rules, copyright owner deliberately places it in the public domain known as dedication, or the copyright law does not protect this type of work.
So ways that you can work within the law is always be educated on specific laws relating to the teaching. If you're unsure about something, always double check the laws so you can cover yourself, and be really creative. An example is if you can't print a copy of something for every single student to have, put it on a smartboard so then the students can take notes themselves from it, and always provide a source if the idea is not originally yours.
How to curb cheating and plagiarism from outside sources. One way you could do this is require bibliography, and in the bibliography, you can encourage your students to use sources that end in edu, org, or gov, and show them online sources that are scholarly, like EBSCO, AEA, online, etc. Don't allow them to use Wiki, SparkNotes, or Paperseller websites as sources. And if you know that the information that they can find is on SparkNotes, just be aware of it and assess the students on information that's not on those websites. And going off of that, create unique, in-depth questions so the students don't have to simply Google search and find the answer. They need to use their own unique thinking to come up with the answers.
And consequences that should happen if people violate the copyright laws are, for elementary, students should be taught about the copywriting laws and how to be responsible for their own work. Students caught copying should have to redo the assignment and then talk to the teacher about it after class. For high school, students who copy during an exam or an assignment that's worth a lot of points should have to be dropped from the course. And students who copy a small assignment should have to redo it and then have to get half credit. And for college, students receive a 0 on the assignment, and the advisor should be noted about the incident. And also the student gets 1 strike on their school record for it.
Preventing copyright violation. At the beginning of the year, the teacher should state the expectations, rules, and consequences. The teacher should also have reminders around the room on copywriting so the students can easily access those. Teachers should expect students to show work so that the teacher knows that they are using their own unique thinking. If a teacher does suspect that a student is plagiarizing, just meet with the student and discuss what's happening and why there might be the discrepancies. And have the students submit their papers to turnitin.com before submitting to the teacher so you know that there isn't any plagiarizing happening. This is our bibliography. Thank you for watching our presentation on copyright and ethics.